Now, I'm not someone who tends to like to kind of tat around, a lot of political issues. So today is the first time I'm really going to do something like that. Maybe it'll continue, maybe it won't. Now, I got word of a bill that was going through Congress right now. It is called HR 6201, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Now, this is a bill that is basically going to change a couple of healthcare laws and change a couple of laws that will basically allow for paid sick leave at the expense of the federal government, and paid coronavirus testing, etc., etc., etc. If you want a link to this bill, I'll post it in the description below. But anyway, while I was watching the House floor vote, the bill passed about, I believe it was like 365 plus to about 40. So there was someone who caught my attention. This was one of the first guys to actually speak after the House minority leader of I think it was the majority or minority leader. I know there's a huge difference there, but there was a guy who really caught my attention, and this was Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas's 1st District. That district represents Nacogdoches, Tyler, and I believe Fairview as well. He really caught my attention, and this is him right here. He is a part of the Tea Party movement, and this is possibly something that actually, contributes to this. He really, really, really was passionate about the way the House floor actually voted on the procedure. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and we're going to go through and we're going to dive through his explanation of why this bill was so bad.
It is quite sad something this important had this kind of procedure. Now, I got a bill at around 9 o'clock or so. I was told it was the most recent draft. I read through that, and I got through it in time to have a number of questions highlighted, tagged, and then I wasn't able, my staff was trying to get a copy of the bill we were going to vote on and get it right before the buzzer goes off. We're going to have a vote in 15 minutes. This is no way to handle something so important, part of which my concerns, and questions I couldn't get answered are going to put some people out of business. And I get over here and people hadn't read it, so they can't answer my questions. This is no way to handle billions and billions of dollars when we're trying to help people, and we don't even know whether we'll help them or hurt them. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back for all purposes.
All right, so that was his explanation about why he really, really did not approve of HR 6201. Now, a couple of years ago, I believe you guys are actually familiar with something called the American Health Care Act of 2017. This was known as Trump Care, and this was the Republican version of how to replace the Patient Protection and Affordable Health Care Act, or the ACA or Obamacare. Now, I do not like Obamacare. I did not like Obamacare, and I hated what it did to low-income families, what it did to regular insurance patient Americans. Both bills were equally bad. And you know who voted for that? Mr. Louis Gohmert. Mr. Louis Gohmert was one of the 217 Republicans who actually thought it was a good idea to actually get this passed. And then he sits there and says, oh, this is no way to handle billions of dollars. We don't know if it'll help him or hurt him. Sir, why would you have the audacity to sit there and say, we don't know if it'll help him or hurt him? And yet you pass something like this to repeal something that has gotten about 26 million Americans off of no insurance. And yet you wanted to repeal it because you were a Republican who was so against Obama that you just voted for it just because you wanted to get rid of Obamacare, to get something else on the market because the Republicans were able to pass it. Now, at first, KLTV did report that Congressman Gohmert was not in support of the American Health Care Act. However, at the end of the day, even after it was amended so many times by the Republican Congress, he still supported that kind of bill. He was still for it, and that is inexcusable in the fact that he is such a massive hypocrite in this instance. Mr. Gomer, please don't be a hypocrite. Please don't sit there and try to say that this is not the way we should deal with billions and billions of dollars worth of American federal dollars and millions of American lives under a national emergency, that a pandemic is ravaging through this country, and you want to sit there and talk about how we can't do something like this because I got it 15 minutes ago so no one else actually read it. Sir, did you read the American Health Care Act? I highly doubt you did.
This is no way to handle billions and billions of dollars when we're trying to help people, and we don't even know whether we'll help them or hurt them. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back for all purposes. The gentleman.